All right, people. So Henry Novak's murderer has been sentenced to life imprisonment, I think 21 years minimum, just after he had murdered Henry Novak. As you can see, he's carrying his kirpan, but the coppers didn't feel the need to check on Henry. The video has been released because whatever the police department is, they've been forced by a lot of activists to release the body cam footage. And we have the footage. And let me tell you, it is distressing. It's ugly. It's heartbreaking. It's gut-wrenching. It's all of those things. And it's happened, in my opinion, if I want to zoom out, in my opinion, it's happened because of the change of culture perpetrated by not just this man. Obviously, there was a whole left who created this culture of making racism the biggest crime in the world. When George Floyd was murdered, look at this clown. He took the knee. 15 days after career criminal George Floyd died of an overdose. He didn't even die because of the knee on his neck, but the whole of the left jumped in, made it a cultural movement, so much so that now, if you throw the accusation of racism towards a white person, that's it. If he's stabbed, he could be killed, whatever. That trumps everything. That is the crux of it. So let me just start with this news story so you feel good about what's happened to Henry's murderer.
Breaking news this afternoon, that is that a man has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 21 years over the murder of 18-year-old university student Henry Novak. 23-year-old Vikram Digwa stabbed Novak to death with a Sikh ceremony.
Let me start again.
Breaking news this afternoon, that is that a man has been jailed for life with a minimum term of 21 years over the murder of 18-year-old university student Henry Novak. 23-year-old Vikram Digwa stabbed Novak to death with a Sikh ceremonial knife in Southampton at the end of 2025. Police had initially handcuffed Novak at the scene after the attacker falsely claimed he'd been the subject of racist abuse. Well, let's hear more from our correspondent, Emma Birchley. Emma, this case has just concluded with the sentencing, and we had reaction from Henry's family outside court.
Yes, indeed. It was in front of a packed courtroom that Vikram Digwa, he was 22 at the time, 23 now, was sentenced to a minimum term of 21 years in prison, less the 175 days he has already served so far, wearing a blue turban and a grey suit. This relating to an altercation that happened on December the 3rd in Southampton. Henry Novak, 18 years old, a first-year university student in Southampton, was on his way home when he came in contact with Vikram Digwa. Now, in a 999 call that was made to police by Vikram's brother, with Vikram also speaking in, the suggestion was that he had been the victim of a racial attack. There'd been a racist slur. His turban had been pulled off. His hair had...
I have a video. I'll play it to you.
...been pulled. That was a call that went on for close to 12 minutes. What happened then was that the police arrived and it was Henry who was handcuffed. He was complaining that he'd been stabbed, but he was handcuffed. By the time they realised that he was really struggling, he'd been stabbed 5 times, the fatal blow would be the one to his chest. He was ready to collapse and he would shortly after die there in the streets of Southampton. Now, those stab wounds were done not with the ceremonial kirpan that Digwa had hidden beneath his shirt. It was with a second blade, a 21 centimetre blade called a Schuster, which he used 5 times. And we know that Henry, when he had the pathology report, had 2 pints of blood within his chest. Now, sentencing him, Judge Bill Mosley Casey said that
2 pints of blood. He was literally drowning in his own blood. Okay, so you heard the official narrative, okay? This is the man that they're trying to go with the fact that it wasn't the actual kirpan that he used to murder. Irrelevant. Irrelevant. Our argument why Sikhs should not be allowed to carry a blade that can be used as a lethal weapon is no one should be allowed to have special privileges. No multiple tier laws for anyone. For anyone. So whether you have more of a chance of getting hit by a lightning than by a kirpan of a Sikh, it's irrelevant. That's not what the West wants anymore, because the West tried to give special privileges to people. Muslims can blare azan, they call to prayer on a loudspeaker. Sikhs can carry their kirpans or whatever that is. Whatever special privileges you've been given, they have to be taken back. So now let me play you the video. Okay, the video starts right after these police officers arrive at this scene. Let me warn you, it is distressful, but focus on every single word. And I have a theory why this happened. This is, I know a lot of people are angry at the police. I am angry at the culture, because this is much bigger than these three or two. Well, we only hear about, we only hear two police officers, one male, one female. It is much bigger than them. It is a direct result of the culture that's been created by the left. It's a culture that's been created by these virtue signaling, tree hugging, bleeding heart liberals. They've created this culture. Keir Starmer took the knee for George Floyd, who was a career criminal. He didn't die because of the police officer's neck on his police officer's knee on his neck. He didn't die because of that. He died because of fentanyl overdose. That's official. It's in the coroner's report. But for some reason, they wanted to guilt trip the police. And look what's happened. This is what happens when you terrify the police with one word, racism. Then of course they're gonna worry more that they don't want to be that next police officer, the one who arrested George Floyd. They don't want to be that. They don't want to be accused of killing a Sikh guy or another brown person. They don't want to be accused of that. Actually, before I play you that video, watch this. This reminds me of this incident of this German police officer, okay? This happened in Mannheim on 31st of May 2024 at 11:34 a.m. This guy, the one who's been subdued, he was there to burn a copy of the Quran, okay? This Afghan migrant, an asylum seeker, turns up and starts stabbing people. It's all on video. I can't play you this video here because it's too graphic. So this police officer attends the scene, and instead of going after this Afghan stabber, because he has brown privilege, he goes after this white man who at that time when he turns up, not burning the Quran, at that time, this guy is trying to subdue this Afghan migrant with a knife. So what the police officer does is shocking. He instinctively goes for the white man because this is the culture they have created. The white man is responsible for all atrocities in the world. It's the white man who's responsible for everything. Therefore, let me go and subdue the white guy. That's what he did. Okay, again, I'm making a different point about police officers because this police officer made that fatal error. And guess what happens? Literally a few seconds later, as soon as he subdues it, and he's not fighting back the officer. In the West, we don't normally fight the police. We don't do that. Some people do, we have a word for them, but I don't want to get into that. Normal people don't fight the police. They're like, okay, all right. So that's what he did. He didn't fight the police officer. This police officer subdues him, and the Afghan man gets up with his knife and stabs this police officer right in the neck. I've blackened it out. And 2 days later, this police officer died. This Afghan migrant was then... So there was another police officer. He looked, I think, of Turkish origin or something. I could be wrong. He didn't look German. He shoots him. That guy shoots him. And he gets seriously injured, but anyway, he survives. So he's been sentenced to life in prison now. I made that point in this video. This is 2 years old. I made that point in this video that this poor police officer paid the ultimate price for being trained by woke manuals, woke training manuals. If you see this altercation, go do this and that. Yeah, look out the asylum seekers. There are racists in our country who are attacking those poor, unarmed, poor innocent asylum seekers. That's it. I guarantee you, this is what's being taught in their training manuals. And that's exactly what happened here. Now watch this video of Henry Novak's, watch this Henry Novak video, and you tell me if it isn't due to this terrible culture that we have bred, we have created in the West.
My dad's holding him. My dad's holding him.
My dad's holding him, that's what he said. That's the dad. Now just, it's apparently clear to us now. Also, have a look at the character of all these people. This is why there are calls growing to deport the entire family. Because at this point, all of them, the brother who said my dad's holding him, the dad, the actual guy who had stabbed him, Vikram Digwa, all of them knew that they had stabbed this guy. You won't see that in the video because it's blurred. Apparently, his mouth was full of his blood. Okay, so they can't hide behind, the stab wounds were not visible. His mouth is bloodied. He can't even speak. Okay, so he's literally drowning in his blood. But look at the apathy shown by the police officers. The female police officer says something, but it's important to get that. Now that I've put that in your head, that this is the culture that they've created. That's the problem. That's the source of all problems. And obviously, these people are looking out for their son, and they are all complicit in this. Because if one of them had said he has been stabbed, we need instead of calling the police, if they had called the ambulance, this young man might have been alive today. But the sheer apathy, the urge to stick together, that's why the British public is angry. I made a video in Urdu to try to tell my Indian audience that don't be upset when the calls to remigrate, mass deportations, deport the entire family, when these calls grow, because this is the behavior of people, and white people have had enough.
He keeps dropping side to side, so I'm just trying to keep him set up. Right. He's got a mouthful of blood. I don't want him. I can't breathe. He was on the bin on the other.
He said it himself. He's got a mouthful of brother. He's got a mouthful of blood.
He's jumped over these fences and stuff like that. And he's up here.
Away, mate.
He's obviously he's fallen from there and he slipped from there. His other shoe.
They clearly fooled the police, because the police is now, the initial reaction is, okay, well, this family looks okay. They have subdued a man. He looks pretty drunk, but he's not drunk. His mouth is full of blood, and he's literally drowning in his blood. That's why very faintly, he would say, I've been stabbed. I can't breathe, very faintly. And to which once this officer would say, I don't think you have.
He's left over there, mate.
What's your name, mate? Huh? Has anyone been hurt other than him?
It says Henry. He's like very faintly, he's saying that.
Yeah, me. He's grabbed my brother. He's took my turban off, started grabbing my head.
Are you injured?
Yeah, I've got swollen eye a little bit.
Look at this pathetic creature. He's saying, look at it, I've got a swollen eye. He's literally stabbed him 5 times. This guy is literally dying with stab wounds, and he's worried about. I'm sorry, if you said deport the entire family, because they're all complicit. I'm sorry. They're all complicit in this. Deport the entire family if you can't find a conviction.
Alright, just step back a little bit for me. Someone flag these down.
This is Henry.
Right, let's get you out of there.
Did you hear? He just said, I've been stabbed.
Right, let's get you out of there, shall we? Oh.
I was in bed asleep. Whenever we just find
Been stabbed again.
I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
So they took out this sound. I don't know what was said. Maybe it could be, I'm not being conspiratorial, maybe someone's personal details were mentioned. Maybe that's why they silenced it. They beeped it, but without the beep. But I don't know. It could have said something else, so it could be incriminating too.
I can't breathe.
Grab his other arm.
So I've just come running, we only live on St Dennis Road.
Right.
Come running around the corner.
What's happened to you, alright? You've been stabbed? Whereabouts? I don't think you have, mate.
I don't think you have, mate. Why? What gave him that right to be so dismissive immediately? Especially someone who's clearly, this is not normal. This is not normal. And they can see his mouth is full of blood. I was trying to be very open-minded, and I still am, I think. I'm not going to put all the blame on these officers. Of course, they were culpable. They were negligent. They were apathetic. But this is a far bigger problem, guys. They used the word racist, and that's it. That was enough for these police officers to start treating him like the worst criminal. Here's my argument. Even if he did say something racist, yeah? But when did that become normal? When did that become a justification for brute force, for violent force? Someone called me this. I don't care. You stabbed him. You're going down on the floor.
And then I'm like, you've got mouthful of, I want to keep you up.
Hand?
I can't breathe.
Put the hand in the cuff, mate.
Yeah.
This is like
can't breathe.
times this has happened.
He literally died. Poor guy just died a few. What more can you do? What more can you do? Look at it. And that's the last thing you want. You want to be handcuffed at this time when his mouth is full of blood.
Can we get a van policy?
90 foot.
Nothing happened. See, you were racist. Nothing happened, mate. 21 years is not enough. I'm sorry.
He's saying he's been stabbed, so
Where
let's
is it
just
you
check
think you've
him.
been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
In the face?
Just get these back.
Did you see how she asked him, where have you been stabbed? And then the Sikh brothers say, oh, no, he hasn't been stabbed. So to which she says, but we still have to check. Unfortunately, yes, that's true. You have to check, but she didn't do a very good job.
Do you
Check
think
him.
you've been stabbed? In the face? Oh no, but we have to check, don't we?
Right.
In the
It's fine.
face?
What did these idiots think? That if they deny stabbing them or if they omit that information, his stab wounds are going to disappear and everything will be fine? Is that what these idiots thought? They should be deported with the entire family just for thinking that.
Just get these back off, get their details on that, and I'll keep hold of him.
Please, brother, I can't breathe.
Should we
Right, keep you on your side, mate. You got to retrieve then. Saying to him, keeping him on his side. We were sat up when we had him here, but he didn't like it. What's your name, mate? At the moment, you are under arrest. That's for assault, so you do not have to say anything. May harm in defence. If you do not mention one question, it's up to which you later line of court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. All right?
When his rights were being read out to him, apparently this is the moment, like shortly after this, he dies, like literally within a few minutes. What a terrible, terrible way to go. What a...
It's going to be sick, I think.
You know, he can see that he's not at his optimum level. He's not 100%. He's sick.
I just want you to call it.
Yeah, we've got this male. He's
just
been beat up. Are we
so
able
angry.
to get an ambulance, please? His pupils aren't even reacting. Yeah.
That's it. That's all we see. I don't know why we don't see anything after that. So I know, yes, these police officers should be charged and prosecuted, but that's not where the buck stops. That's not where the penny drops. I told you this is a cultural problem. Let me show you another video. This video just came out. People have somehow agreed that if someone is being racist towards you, then that warrants a physical act of violence towards you. That's what they believe. Look at this video. It just came out from Austria. Okay? It came out from Austria, where a black woman beats up an Austrian young woman, 25-year-old young woman, and she had no idea who this black woman is. She'd never seen her before. But the black woman says that she looked at me and laughed at me. Let's just, which the Austrian woman denied. Let's just say it's true. Let's just say it is true. Since when did that give you a reason to lay your hands on a person who laughed at you, who looked at you funny, huh? Again, this is what I'm saying. These cultures matter. These people from other cultures, they have different views on how they should behave in public. Yeah, why are you looking at me? Boom, stab, dead. This guy, even if he said racist, which the judge has said, Henry didn't say anything racist. Oh, you're racist toward me. Boom, 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 stab. The guy was trying to run away from him. Sorry, racism is not a crime. Let me say that again. Racism is indecent at best. It does not warrant a physical retaliation. It does not warrant anything. The most you can do is say you're a disgraceful person and walk away. That is a civilized thing to do, but unfortunately, I have always said some cultures are not civilized yet. They're still living in medieval times. The question is, why do we have to bring those people en masse? Listen, watch this. Watch this crap. Oh, boom. She fights back, but unfortunately she had no chance. She had no chance because there's look at the white person. Oh, the white person is going at. Imagine this. Imagine this, guys. I've never seen white people behave this way. Very rarely I used to see it. Like, that would only happen if one's a drug addict or a junkie or something. But normal civilized people do not behave like this. She called her shitty Austrian. Anyway, I'm sidetracking. Let me say that again. Racism is not a crime. Racism is deplorable, but it's not a crime. It does not warrant a physical retaliation. Now, have a look at Henry Novak's parents, okay? This is even more gut-wrenching. This is even more heartbreaking. Henry Novak's father, let's have a listen to him.
Now, let's go to the families.
I'm Henry Novak's father. To my left is my daughter, Olivia Novak, Henry's older sister. And to her left is Lucy Ross, Henry Novak's mother. The jury confirmed what we've always known. Henry's life was taken from him unlawfully, violently, and without justification. Henry was 18 years old. He was kind, ambitious, loved, and full of promise. He had his whole life ahead of him, a degree to finish, places to see, and a future to build.
Tell me how all these people are not going to turn far right. Tell me. Give me one good reason. Some people actually won't. A lot of them might not. That's how softened white society is. They've been softened. Every single one of them should be racist. Or not racist. Every single one of them should be asking for some control back. No kirpans, no special privileges. The whole family assisted in covering up the crime. I think the mother is also going to be sentenced. They should all hold the view that, sorry, if you do not like our laws, you go back. And now you have proven that you like to stick together. We've seen this. This is a very common moral code. Some people would say, well, white people would do the same thing toward their child. Some would, 100%, but there is a very vibrant aspect of white culture where they will encourage their criminal son to hand yourself to the police. You made a mistake, hand yourself to the police. But this almost never happens in a lot of other cultures. Imagine that this is the worst thing any parent can go through. Mother's inconsolable, sister's inconsolable, and the father has to read this statement. Anyone who's a parent, I know parents say that, oh, you'll understand one day when you have kids. We don't take it seriously until that happens. And this is the worst thing. This is one thing that I can understand that can push people over the edge. The death of your child.
That future was stolen from him, and no verdict or sentence will ever give it back. Henry did nothing wrong. He was one of the kindest, friendliest, and most inclusive people you could ever hope to meet. He was amazing in every way. On the 3rd of December last year, Henry was walking home from a night out with his university football teammates when he encountered Vikram Digwa, a man openly carrying a large knife on the streets of Britain.
Oh, I forgot a key piece of information. Henry Novak was actually filming himself while he was walking, and he briefly captured his interaction with the murderer, with his murderer, and it goes something like this. Henry says, "You're a bad man. You're a bad man." So obviously something's happened, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a bad man. I'm a very bad man." And turns out he really was in the mood to be a bad man, to teach a lesson, or for whatever reason. He was.
That knife was used to take Henry's life. He should have been safe walking home. Instead, he became another young life lost to the brutal reality of knife crime in this country.
Mostly done by non-whites. Sorry, I had it. It may not be Sikhs. Sikhs usually don't do that. Let me give you a disclaimer, but that's besides the point. White people or the mainstream British society does not care, should not care what are the subtle differences between these immigrant groups. You are under no obligation to be this fair. You really are not. You need to get up and say, we don't care. India versus Pakistan, who's right and who's wrong. No, it's none of your business. Your business is your society is being contaminated to the point where your way of life is barely recognizable. You don't carry knives. You were asked to let go of your weapons, hand in your weapons, and like a high trust society, you said, here, take it all back. We did that in Australia. In Australia, after one massacre, John Howard's government said, hand in your guns. And look at this. Look, this is how high trust societies operate. Nobody protested. Nobody, here, have it. Millions of guns were handed back to them. But now we've had machete crime violence in Australia, all done by non-Australians, all done by foreign migrants, their youth, their children, mostly Africans. So our Victorian government set up machete bin collections everywhere. So she put up these machete bins everywhere, random hotspots that you could secretly deposit your machetes in there. Guess what? Nobody deposited their machetes. Why? Because there's a major cultural change. These are not white people you're dealing with who are high trust people who would listen to the government. When they put these COVID lockdowns on us, you know what? We didn't protest. We said, okay, take it. High trust society. But now within a few years, look at the result. Our high trust society has become a shitty society. So white people need to say enough. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if someone is offended by me looking at them funnily, as that black woman claimed in Austria. I don't care if they won a football match and they ran riots and they started rioting in Paris, as you saw yesterday. Some Frenchmen of African heritage, you know what they're saying? But this culture of football hooliganism is alien to Africans. This is French culture. That's why we see all these fine young French, North African Frenchmen doing all these things. Sorry. There's so much anger in me. I'm sorry.
Henry had been stabbed multiple times, and as his chest filled with blood, he tried to escape.
He couldn't.
He was chased, abused, and filmed by Vikram Digwa and others.
And his family. His father was pinning him down when he was drowning in his blood.
When police arrived, Henry was lying on the floor, barely able to sit up and plainly in severe medical distress. With his final words, he told officers that he could not breathe. he told them he had been stabbed.
Oh my God.
In fact, Henry
Can't believe what's going through them. You know, and people don't get it. All these woke virtue signaling. There are pricks who are already defending this Vikram Digwa guy. They have started defending it. And they've started politicizing the issue, like, oh, it's not all Sikhs. Same thing that you have heard a million times before from Muslims. This was a golden opportunity for the Sikh community to say, you know what? We stand with Australian society, with British society. And yes, we are willing to, in this climate, we are willing to cooperate and even make sacrifices because it's not normal time. You shouldn't have, sorry, even one is too many. Shouldn't have happened. These people, they had dreams. Henry Novak was a university student. They had dreams. He was going to become someone one day. They raised him when he was that little. He held him in his hands. She had dreams of him. All gone, all gone. This is the worst thing. Like, as a parent, I can't stop thinking about this.
He told officers that he could not breathe 9 times. He told them he had been stabbed 4 times. The response from one officer was, "I don't think you have, mate."
Apathy.
The police have said they were misled by the murderer.
Oh.
And that the scene when they arrived was complex.
It wasn't complex. It was very simple, actually. You just took a man's word because he was brown and he had thrown the R word. That's it. It's a part of their training module. Listen to Nuria Khan. Nuria Khan has made some videos about prevents training programs and all that. I think she's made some really good videos. The kind of questions, the kind of training modules that they have, you come out thinking that white culture is the worst culture in the world. Every single problem in the West, from poverty in Africa to overflowing sewers in Bangladesh and India and Pakistan, everything is the fault of the white man. And then, of course, when they come out of those training modules, they look at everyone. They become racist towards white people. It's such a pathetic joke that I don't know who did this.
Unfortunately, it seems to us the truth is much simpler.
It is
the police were told by our son himself and by a member of the public who called 999 that they heard someone shout that they had been stabbed. But the police did not believe them. Henry was pulled across the gravel, his hands forced behind his back, and he was placed in handcuffs. Instead of being treated as a dying victim, police formally arrested Henry for assault and read him his rights.
My mother can't go through it. This is so brave and so depressing. Thank goodness. You know what? To be honest, I was expecting 3 or 4 years jail. I honestly was expecting that. I have no idea what that. So maybe are they picking up the cues? Are they thinking, because Tutia Kia, who didn't say anything for Wayne Broadhurst, who was killed by an Afghan, he didn't say anything for Renee. Sorry, I'm forgetting Renee's last name. Who was working in one of the hotels that were housing migrants, and one of the residents, sub-Saharan African, just stabbed her multiple times with a screwdriver, killed her. He hasn't mentioned anything about her. There's so many. There are literally hundreds of ordinary white Brits who've been stabbed, raped, killed. I know these were not asylum seekers. This was a settled family. Probably haven't done anything wrong in the past. But they're also victims of their circumstances. They have also raised their children with, white person, if he says anything racist, you know what? Stand up and blah, 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 whatever, do whatever you want. So that's a failure of their parents. I'm sorry. You raised a murderer. You did raise a murderer. These lefties, mainstream society, they created this culture of hating the white race. It was always going to yield some results like this. That's what's been happening at scale. But they're not gonna. This is not going to end well. Not for the not for the whites, but it's not going to end well for the non-whites. It's not going to end well for them. I know that for a fact. But why go through this? Why create these pathetic cultural paradigms that are forcing people to this kind of behavior. It should have always been built on equality, merit, no special privileges. They would have created a much better society. And that's the same mistake we're making in Australia. Oh, you know how many times these rapists have been let go because, in their culture, they didn't see it as a wrong thing. How many of these people use this excuse? And our judges actually accept that.
That was the last thing he heard. Henry did not die with dignity.
No.
He did not die with the care he deserved. He lost consciousness before anyone believed him. Let me be absolutely clear. We hold Vikram Digwa solely and 100% responsible for the brutal murder of our son. But...
And his family too, for covering it up. Why are white people so polite even in the face of tragedy? Why? Why are you so polite?
Henry should not have died on the streets of Southampton in police custody. The way he was treated was inhumane and degrading. His murderer, however, was afforded decency. He was believed. He was not handcuffed when arrested. He was not handcuffed when transported to the police station.
Why?
As far as we understand, he was never handcuffed at all. And, as Vikram Digwa himself told the court, whilst under arrest for Henry's murder, police even took him to the kitchen so he could choose his food. The contrast is...
Again, this is... You can be angry at the individual police officers, but this is the culture that they have created. It's about the culture, guys. It's the culture that is responsible for this. Look at this stark difference in treatment. One guy is bleeding from his mouth. Okay, you don't understand whether he's been stabbed or not. You don't believe him. First of all, why you don't believe him? Because he's a white man, probably racist. 19-year-old boy, actually. So they don't believe him. And then on top of that, now when they do know that this guy has stabbed him, he's responsible for his death, they're still being ultra soft to him. Why? It's the culture, guys. It's the culture that they've created.
Is unbearable. We believe the officers involved remain on duty, although we understand some may have since resigned. One was allowed to leave the force before she had given an account to the Independent Office of Police Conduct of what happened that evening. The IOPC investigation remains ongoing. Whilst we await its final report, we are calling on the Home Secretary to ensure that the IOPC has the resources, authority, and independence it needs to conduct a full, fearless, and transparent investigation.
Again, let me tell you something. I don't think you can be angry at the police officers. You can. You have every right to be. But they are just cogs in this machine. Those police officers will fire back, and I think they should fire back. They should say, we were doing exactly how we were trained. Okay? I know this might sound cold because I'm following a lot of people. A lot of people are angry at the police officers and they're only asking for them to be arrested. Fine, do that. But I'm telling you, it is much bigger than those police officers. They were doing exactly what they were trained to do. And it's happening. The same thing is happening in Germany. The same thing happened in Germany. This guy is the prime example of that. Those police officers were easily hoodwinked. They were blindsided, and they could have easily fallen victim to these perpetrators themselves. It didn't turn out that way, but it could have happened. So we need a deeper investigation than just trying to put the blame on the police officers. Go through their training modules. Go through it. I guarantee you, racism will be a big part of that. Big part of that. Racism is not a crime, guys. It's not. And the West did very well up until they started taking racism as a criminal issue. The West did well. People were still flocking into Western countries from countries that could be victims of racism, from brown countries, black countries, Asian countries. People still kept... So racism was never a big issue. I can say that with confidence. I came to Australia in 2003. Okay, Australia was not as multicultural as it is now. For obviously, for good reasons. It was. I prefer Australia of the early noughties. Okay, I actually prefer that. Racism. No, someone might say something. Okay, it never happened to me, but I can understand it might have happened. But it wouldn't because the mainstream Australian society, because it was so civilized and advanced that even if some people, some bogans, let's say, might be racist towards a non-white person, then their own society, our own society will curb it, will discourage it, will not look at that person favorably, the one who's perpetrating an act of racism. Not everything can be legislated. Not everything can be turned into a crime, even some things that are abhorrent. Like, for example, dropping F-bombs. You can't criminalize this. You can't. No decent person will be dropping F-bombs left, right, and center in the middle of a decent gathering. But if someone does, then he will face the consequences of being looked down upon. So racism is not a crime. It should never be a crime.
Our families should not have to fight for the truth anymore. Despite the shocking actions of the police on that fatal night, the murder investigation was very different. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Senior Investigating Officer DCI Rebecca Bartholomew, the Serious Crime Team, and particular officer in the case, Claire Proctor. We would also like to thank our incredible family liaison officers, Sarah Page and Trudy May, for their diligence, professionalism, and compassion throughout this investigation.
All women. So, it's also good to have women in the force. Just to support my argument, I have been sent the recording of that 999 call that Vikram's, aka the murderer's family, made to the police. And this will give us an insight into how our department's mind works. Our police department's minds work.
In light of all of that, is the 999 call made to police by the murderer's brother.
Police emergency.
Yeah, we just been attacked by someone racially. Yeah, this.
Right.
He just attacked it, took his starter. Okay. Huh? Sorry, we just got attacked racially by some white person.
Right, okay. Whereabouts are you?
We're on Belmont Road.
You should have said, this is where our training needs to come in. Not racially. Racial doesn't matter. You've been attacked? Okay, fine. Now we'll send police. Now you send the police, and you should just take out race. Race is not like, well, what is it? Like, oh, I've been attacked because I'm fat. Like, what is it? Why does racial? Why does this word racial takes precedence over everything? Why? I've been attacked because I'm fat. I've been attacked because I was walking too slowly. No, you've been attacked. That's it.
Just out in the street, are you?
Sorry?
You're just in the street?
Yeah, literally. I just parked up my car to come home, and he's attacked my brother.
We just got attacked racially. We just got attacked by this beep. So, did they call him a name there?
Yeah.
Did they call Henry Novak a horrible name after...
A white racist name, yeah, probably. Good pick.
After the brother had stabbed him multiple times. We got attacked by this white guy. He just came out. Now, the thing is, we now know none of that's true. We now know not only is none of that true, but what the boys then did, the men then did, is they made a call to their mother. And their mother, who was not born here, by the way, arrived at the scene, and there's a picture that we're going to show you in a second, which is of the knife that was used. This ceremonial knife.
Mother hit it.
21 centimetres long. This sword, really. At what point does a knife become a sword?
Oh my God, they've been shaving their pubes with it?
Sword, I mean, there you go. That's it. The mother arrived at the scene.
Oh, there's blood. That's Henry's blood.
And took the knife and left the scene with the knife and hid it. And there she is.
Deport, prison, and then deport. Sorry, the whole family. Why is the brother not arrested and charged? Why?
I mean, this is a family murder and cover up, and it is absolutely disgusting.
And I think even Patrick Christie, and I think no one else is picking up on that. This is a cultural problem. So he started off the call with, we've been racially attacked by a white man. Okay. How did the caller, how did he send the information to the police unit that he was liaison or communicating with? He said, white suspect, racially attacked, brown people, go attend the scene or whatever. That's it. That's information. You can't really blame them. This is why I'm making a cultural argument. The dispatcher has to give that information to the police officer who's going to be attending the scene. They have to do that, which is why I'm saying racial should not be a buzzword that trumps everything. It should not be. I'm sorry, I had a lot to say. This is how I would wrap it up. I think I've said it a few times. This is not just about those police officers. Yes, you have a right to be angry towards them. They showed apathy. But if you go beneath the surface, then you will realize this problem is institutional, it's structural, because racism has become the biggest crime in the West when it shouldn't even be a crime. The moment you throw an allegation of racism, our authorities, our bureaucracy, politicians, they look at it differently. Why? It ain't the biggest crime in the world. It ain't. It shouldn't even be a crime. It should be looked down upon morally and let your society judge it. And the society was doing well. The biggest evidence of that is, despite throughout the 80s and the 90s, when the West was so racist, people were still flooding the West. They were still coming in from all parts of the world. White people are the least racist people, and they should start growing a spine.